Good morning guys, welcome to another video. Today we'll be talking about how does a computer actually work. Firstly, I would like all of you to take a look at all these components present here and ask yourself, what do they look like? Okay, so you got your answers? Let's double check it. Firstly, the one in green is called storage media. The one in blue is called CPU, which stands for Central Processing Unit. The one in red is RAM, Random Access Memory, and the one in yellow is called the motherboard. How does the computer use these components to actually function? So firstly, let me give you an analogy. The storage media, the CPU, the RAM and the motherboard, they're all like a kitchen. Okay? How so? The CPU acts like the head chef or the brain. Why? Because it processes all the data, it segregates it, it sends it to the correct components, etc. So it acts like the brain or the chef hat. The RAM, on the other hand, acts like the countertop. What is a countertop? Meaning where all the ingredients, for example, they're all prepped, they all get ready. This is called the RAM. The RAM here stores all the data for a temporary amount of time, and it can be easily accessed by the CPU. The storage media over here acts like the pantry or the fridge. It stores all the ingredients for a long time. In the context of technology, it stores all the data for a long time so it can be accessed whenever the user wants. Motherboard acts like the floor, the literal floor. Here the chef moves around, it's connected to the cabinets, the fridge. Where does all these components go on the motherboard? Here the CPU goes here in the small box. Here the RAM goes on the small RAM sticks. They have some space allocated to them. Lastly, the storage media. The storage media goes over here. I hope you can see. The reason for this being so small on the motherboard is because nowadays we use NVMe SSDs. They're very fast and really small. How is the data actually processed? Example, I have a picture of my cat, Gray. Okay? Gray the cat. And he's stored over here in the storage media. We can take it as a hard drive. So how does the CPU actually access the data? Here, take example blow as slow and cool. If the data is accessed directly from the storage media, it will be really slow and the CPU has to wait. This will cause the buffering screen you can see sometimes on games. But what happens is that the data moves from here to the storage media before the data is actually retrieved from the user into the RAM. Then, with lightning fast speed, it moves directly to the CPU. This makes it easier and reduces the time required for buffering and makes the data retrieval faster. Example, when your favorite game is closed, it's just sitting completely frozen in your storage. It takes up space but isn't doing anything. Okay? But when you hit play, you see a loading screen. What is happening during the loading screen? The computer is actively copying the game files out of the slow storage and putting them onto the super fast RAM, which is aka the prep table. So the CPU can reach them instantly. Now the game is on the RAM, the CPU can read the code instantly. Every time, example, you press the jump button or turn your character, the CPU calculates the movement in the real time right off the prep table. Another part we must talk about is called the GPU, stands for Graphics Processing Unit. So what happens here is that the CPU processes any data that must be displayed, sends it directly to the GPU that will translate it into pixels. Here the different colors which should be on, blah blah blah, will be passed through the VGA or HDMI port right to the monitor or display. So how does the data actually transfer? Meaning, does it transfer in plain English or some other language? Actually, to your surprise, it doesn't actually understand English or video game graphics or photos. Inside machine, everything, every video game, every video, every text message is just a massive list of numbers. These numbers are called binary data. They consist of zeros and ones. So how does your computer actually transfer this binary data? So the thing is that it's all stored in this storage media. it's moved to the RAM, it's access to the CPU. And when it's actually displayed, we use something called an interpreter, which we'll discuss in another video about how it transfers the binary data into readable text for humans. Okay, let's move on to how inputs and outputs work. Think about example, if this is the mouse over here, ignore my bad drawing. This is the mouse over here. This is like the ears and eyes of the computer. So it's all connected directly to the motherboard via USB ports. And what happens is that the input from here goes to the RAM, then to the CPU, which processes it and sends it back to the output devices like speakers, etc. Hope you guys understood. Any questions you can ask me in the chat box. Thank you for watching, and next time we're going to do a tear down on a actual PC.